So now we're going to turn our attention to Judges 13 to 14. Judges 13 to 14 is Samson. Ready? Here we go. After Gideon's death, new enemies come against Israel. Now Philistine raiders strike time and again at the Israelite villages, carrying off grain, cattle, and even children to work as slaves. Man, them damn Philistines. One Israelite woman receives a promise, however, from the Lord. You're going to have a boy, so keep yourself pure because your son will help save Israel from the Philistines. As a sign that he is set apart for the Lord, no razor or scissors must ever touch his head. A man came and told me that we're going to have a boy and he will be a hero for God. You're feverish. Even if we did have a kid, there's no reason God would bless him with such a great destiny. It's true. Your son will be a Nazirite, set apart for God from birth, and he must never cut his hair, for that will be the symbol of his holiness. What is your name, great one? My name doesn't matter, only the name of our awesome Lord. Then we shall sacrifice a goat as thanks to the Lord. As they light a small fire for their sacrifice, we have seen God, the Lord, will surely fulfill his promise to us. So as they're lighting a small fire for their sacrifice, the angel of the Lord was inside the fire. But to his parents' dismay, as their son Samson grows up, he doesn't act like somebody destined to be God's hero. He's an irresponsible young man. He disobeys many of the Lord's commands, except for one, the one about cutting his hair. May I give you a drink of water? Yes, thank you. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I don't care if she's a Philistine, the enemy of my people. Back home, Samson loses no time telling his parents what he wants. I have fallen in love with the Philistine girl. Make arrangements with her parents for us to get married. But you're supposed to be God's deliverer. How can you love one of our enemies? She doesn't believe in our God. I don't care. Make it happen. On his way to visit his new fiancée, Samson is suddenly attacked by a lion. At that moment, the Spirit of the Lord gives Samson great power, and he rips the lion apart with his bare hands. The Lord has given me great strength. Nobody better mess with me now. Finally, the time for the wedding comes. Samson walks by the spot of his battle with the lion and sees its body still there. Bees have made honey in the lion's carcass. Samson scoops some of the honey and tastes it. It's good. Ha! I'm eating food out of the animal that wanted to eat me for food. In Timnah, several Philistines greet Samson. I'm your best man, said one of the Philistines, and I brought 29 of my friends to be your guest. Thanks, said Samson. Hey, I've got an idea. If any of you can guess my riddle, I'll give each of you a shirt and a nice robe. If you can't, each of you has to give me a shirt and a robe. So the 30 Philistine, the best men, the friends at his wedding party was like, well, one of us should be able to figure out this stupid Israelites riddle. So they said, yes, it's a bet. So here's the riddle. Samson says, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. You must guess the answer within the 7 days of my wedding feast. But as the week goes by, neither the best man nor any of his friends can guess Samson's riddle. What can we do? I can't afford to give him a shirt and a robe. Neither can I. We'll have to get the answer from his bride. After all, she is a Philistine. We didn't come here to get robbed by your future husband. Get the answer from Samson, or we'll set fire to your father's house with you in it. So that's the 30 Philistines at the wedding party that's threatening the Philistine woman, saying, either give us the answer to the riddle or we're going to kill you and your father. So she gets scared. Instead of telling Samson what they just did, she gets scared. She just says, okay, I will. Just give me some time. So that evening, if I'm going to be your wife, we shouldn't have secrets, she tells Samson. Tell me the answer to your riddle. Not even my father and mother know the answer. Why should I tell you? But she cries every day, and on the last day of the feast, you hate me. If you loved me, you'd tell me the answer. So Samson says, fine, the answer is a lion and honey. he told her. And then a few minutes later, she slips away. She says she's got the answer. And then they said, tell us and you'll save your life. At the feast, the 30 Philistines that apparently were a part of the party, did he have no Israelites at the party? Anyways, we come to collect our wager. The answer to your riddle is a lion and honey. After all, what is sweeter than honey and what is stronger than a lion? We'd like our 30 robes, please. You cheated. My bride must have told you. And if that's the case, doesn't that make the bet null and void? You cheated. Yeah, the bet is now null and void. You threatened my wife. I may have lost this bet, but your people will be the ones to pay, Samson says. So then Samson goes out to Ashkelon, another city. He's furious. He storms out of his wedding feast and enters another city. Aha! Enough Philistines to pay my debt, and all of them handsomely dressed too. With his great strength, Samson strikes down a group of enemy Philistines. 23, 24, 25, still in a race, Samson returns to the wedding feast. Here the debt is paid, and by the lives of your own countrymen. So he went to Ashkelon and killed 30 people, stole their garments, and then gave it to the 30 Philistines that he made the bet with. And that's the end of Judges 13 and 14. So far, what are we learning? So far, what is going on? So who started what? The Philistines, threatened his wife and the father to give him the answer to the damn riddle. So that sounds like they started it, but then he goes to Ashkelon and he kills 30 innocent people that had nothing to do with nothing. They had nothing to do with the bet or nothing. He murdered 30 people. Samson goes into Ashkelon and kills 30 people to satisfy this bet that he made with the Philistines over a riddle, over a stupid riddle, which I don't even... Is that how a riddle works? Out of the eater, something sweet. Out of the strong, something to eat or something sweet. So Samson is a terrorist to find the Philistines based on Judges 15. We'll read Judges 15, and then we'll get to the exciting conclusion. Without a thought for his bride or his wedding, Samson returns to his parents' house. But as his anger cools, he thinks of his wife waiting for him. I guess it really wasn't her fault. They forced her to tell the answer. I'll go talk to her. In the Philistine city, he goes straight to the home of his wife's father. I've come to see my wife. Your wife? We thought you hated her. She married your best man. His best man? Does that sound like a best man to you? Here is her younger sister. What? She's even more beautiful. Do you want to marry her? No, Samson said. I should have known better to trust you Philistines. It almost feels a little racist. Whatever I do now, it's your fault. It did say in the very beginning, though, that they were, making the children work as slaves. They were stealing grain and cattle, and they kept attacking Israelite villages. Like Samson did to Ashkelon. Is that what they were doing? I guess it matters who started it. Who started it? Are the Philistines as bad as they say it is? Because in the middle of this, it's like, yeah, fuck those Philistines. And the only policy that Samson is going to have is he hates the Philistines. He's a judge for 20 years. This man's a judge. So he's pissed off, goes out, finds out that the father had given the daughter to another man, which, is that how, I guess because women were property, he was able to do something like that. On the way home, Samson goes through the fields rich with ripened grain, fields and vineyards stolen from my people. I know how I can make the Philistines sorry for stealing my wife. In no time, Samson sets foxes racing through the fields and vineyards with flaming torches tied to their tails. In a matter of minutes, the whole countryside is ablaze. In the city, the Philistines watch with terror as the sky glows red. Samson did this. He's getting even with his wife's father for letting her marry somebody else. Her father should have known better than to trick Samson. Come on, let's give our countryman a taste of his own medicine. The angry Philistines set fire to the home of Samson's father-in-law, but they don't count on Samson's return. You killed my wife. She was one of your own people. Well, somebody had to be punished. Then it will be you. None of you Philistines deserve to live. That's Samson. None of you Philistines deserve to live. And so the foxes, this is exactly how the Bible says. The Bible says that Samson got 300 foxes and he tied their tails together, 2 by 2. So, 2 by 2 had them, their tails were tied together, and then he lit their tails on fire. And then they had them run around setting the crops on fire. So this makes it seem more, they said that they tied a flaming torch to their tail. No, he lit the tails of fox. So Samson finds 300 foxes, and he ties 150 of them tail to tail, and then lights their tails on fire and burns all the Philistines' crops. So again, it was the father who did that, but he's going to blame the father, but he's destroying all the... It just seems like he keeps attacking other people that didn't do, the offense. After killing the Philistines, Samson hides in a cave in Judah. The Philistine army follows him and demands that the tribe of Judah turn Samson over to them. The tribal leaders are powerless to refuse. It's you, they tell Samson, or every man, woman, and child in Judah. So Samson lets them tie him up. That should do it. The ropes are brand new and the knots are tight. Your capture will spare us the Philistines' wrath, Samson said. Let's go. Samson prays, "Oh God, do not let your enemy defeat me." When the Philistines see Samson bound before them, they shout in rage and charge to kill him. "I'm sorry, Samson, but this is the only way to protect Israel." Suddenly the Spirit of the Lord gives Samson great power again. He bursts his ropes and grabs the jawbone of a donkey lying nearby on the ground. Then he says, "I've thought of another way." With deadly aim, Samson strikes down one Philistine soldier after another. Those who can escape run for their lives. So he's about to be captured, and now he's getting attacked by the Philistines. So I guess let's finish this up real quick. With deadly aim, Samson strikes down one Philistine soldier after another. Those who can escape run for their lives. When he has done, 1,000 Philistines lie dead around him. Then weary and thirsty, Samson prays to God, "Lord, you gave me the victory. Don't let me die of thirst." Now God provides a stream of water to strengthen Samson. After this event, Samson serves as a leader and protector of Israel for 20 years.